Hi everybody. This video is going to show you three tools that I typically use for development. These three tools are AI-based tools and are very good to improve effectiveness in a workflow for somebody that typically develops TypeScript applications. So in this case, I will perform a demo to build a Visual Studio Code extension. The idea is to use Code as a main driver, get assisted by using Willow, which is a tool that enables you to dictate and have text written somewhere. And I will also use Cursor as a side tool, so the classic chat interface to do minor activities. So we start with Code, which I purchased and I have installed here. Code is a command line tool, is different than a classic chat assistant. Chat assistant, they work on the MCP protocol to enable different AI models to work on a code base, maybe in agent mode or ask mode, and they manage the context not really effectively. So that means often they are not precise. You need to iterate a lot. And Code, differently from a chat tool, Code is a command line tool that can handle a larger context because operates entirely in memory. So the idea is I created the GitHub repository with a very small project to create a modern IDE for embedded system development. I created an overview, which is sort of a requirement document. And now I want to use this Claude code to help me build the system. The idea is to build a Visual Studio Code extension that help me to build a tool or stuff like that. Now, what typically happens, you start writing here and you type your requirements. But if you have large requirements or if you want to track them, you typically put it into a file. And then maybe you want to copy all the file and paste it here so that you know exactly what he knows exactly what you're talking about. Now we'll add also my instructions. So Willow works by a key combination where I can dictate, and when I remove the key combination, I can see the text being printed in any form. So in this case, I'm going to paste the text here. Okay. I want to build a Visual Studio Code based IDE that enables me to create C++ projects and build them. This project should contain all that is needed to perform some initial quick tests based on the requirements that I'm going to provide by attaching the files. Thank you. You see, Willow pasted my voice input into here. Now it's time for me to copy all the requirements, paste them here, and Claude Code will start doing its magic. Like I said, it's a pretty powerful model, and it operates all in memory, so it's more efficient than just a side chat tool. What is interesting is that you get a context, an idea on what is working on. It has like a checklist of which you can check the status. It starts making changes to the package on. He knows that I want to create a JavaScript project, of course. A tsconfig, so we also need to use TypeScript because ESLint, TypeScript, ESLint, these are all technologies that are needed to work on TypeScript. He adds a git ignore. And so this is going to pretty quickly came up with a solution in which he sets up a VS Code extension with Platform IO, because the requirement I provided to him is that I want to use Platform IO as a primary build system, and as a target architecture I want to have proprietary syscall and RISC. He's adding the Visual Studio Code extension independently. I presented the core features, which is a code editor with syntax highlighting for C++ and Rust, a build system integration with Platform IO, pin assignment tool with visual chip representation. Let's see if it's really going, if it's really able to implement this. I don't think so. Do you want to make this edit? Yes, of course. Then I asked also, create an app marketplace, debug support. Plus I'm telling which are, the decisions that I did not take. Even if I told him explicitly I want to use VS Code, so I also give some information that it's contrasting, because here I'm saying I did not decide yet which tool I want to use, Eclipse Thea or VS Code. But in my initial instructions, I told him I want to create a Visual Studio Code plugin. Now it's creating a folder called Proto as a prototype. This is what I typically do. Have subfolders containing all different experiments. Is writing the code, the manager for Platform IO, and the extension that then instantiates the classes. You see, you can kind of follow through, let's call it the line of thought. He has this explanation mode, which is used for us human to better understand the operations at hand. We can see here that is creating a template for an Arduino Blink example. Probably choose this board because it's widely available, the information on how to develop this. And now is done most of it, is just creating the documentation and test instructions. Okay. We created the README and now a final top level summary document for the project. Okay, so I guess the quick start will contain all the information on how to run. Let's start reading them. Check the version, check Platform IO, install and compile the project, create the Visual Studio Code, run the Visual Studio Code extension. And then he provides some comments that are in the new IDE. New project, build, clean, upload firmware, open pin designer. I'm curious to see if the pin designer is there. I don't think it will work but let's see. And then it's also probably some troubleshooting. Okay, let's show the three. Okay, is also considered the different ID platform options. Interesting. So he knows that this is a prototype and I might want with VS Code. And he says, I create this structure so later you can try different stuffs. Okay. So it seems this is complete. And I guess I can just run the VS Code extension at this point. So I open the README. Let me copy this path. Okay, then node version, code version, PU version. Of course, it checks that I have Node.js, Visual Studio Code, and Platform IO installed. Then I cd in this folder. I'm already in this folder, so no problem with this. I need to do an npm install. Then I need to do a compile. Okay, it's compiled. So since I'm already in this folder, I just need to open this folder with Visual Studio Code. I can do it with code dot, and it starts. Okay, nice. This is the new VS Code window. I can proceed with this. Option A, test with sample project. Let's see. Let's see if this already has the micro IDE. No, it does not have it. So basically, this is not the already the VS Code with the extension. This is just the extension that's compiled. To launch it, I think is F5 or run debug. I think is start debugging. Okay, this is the IDE with our extension. So now he probably created the command, Command Shift P, micro IDE. Yes, indeed. Here you can see the projects. Okay, this is a previous iteration of the micro IDE that I created earlier. Interesting. Very good. Let's see. In the extension development host, okay, here I could copy the sample project, but it's not clear from where to where. I see there is a template. create a new project, available commands. Let's try the commands provided. So micro id, create a new project, new project. I call it test link. I select we have instructions. Okay, these instructions are not clear. Later, I'll show you that in a previous iteration, he provided better instruction. So let's say I select Uno, Arduino. Okay, let's say I create a folder called another test. I select the parent folder. And then inside, I guess I can also test building. So here, I guess, yes, there is a main CPP with probably some example. Let's try to Command Shift P, micro id build project. Okay, here is building. So it seems it's okay. So the file. Probably the clean works. It's curious to see the upload firmware if it's going to work, but I'm more interested in the open pin design. Command Shift P, micro id, open pin design. Oh, interesting. Now we have already some basic, UI. I mean, it's not really clickable, but it's already something, given that in the original requirement, I did not give any specification. So I would say that that's pretty successful for what I expected. Let's close this. Here we can see the debugging that was inside. Okay, so as you can, as we saw, Claude Code is powerful with very little instruction, very good prompt. I would say it can give good results. Let's say that the main differences between Claude Code and any other model, I typically use Claude, you use VMCP, is that since Claude Code has a better context management, it tends to produce good results even with bad prompts, and it excels with complete complex prompts and larger sessions. If you work with an MCP-based tool, like it could be Copilot, or in this case I'm using, let's call it Cursor. Well, the model is still powerful, but the context management is different. Then we saw that with the agent mode, this is able to perform a number of operations. What is really interesting is that it can perform quite a lot of actions. And now I show you an example. In a previous iterations, I created another project still in Proto P01, independent from this project. And now this is the second recording of the video. I created this project that is slightly different than the previous. Now let's say that I want to check the difference between this project and the one that I created below. Well, if I was very, very good with Git, I would probably remember the command by heart. But with AI, we can get this knowledge. It's easy to do so. So let's try to ask this tool to provide the difference. Hey, in a previous iteration with Claude Code, I generated another prototype in the same directory structure proto/p01. Now the other prototype is in the branch. I stopped because I need to see in which branch it was. Git feature one arc docs is in the branch feature one arc docs. While the current prototype that you just generated is at head in this branch. Can you please run a git compare and tell me briefly what are the main differences between the previous generation and the current generation? Please put all the results in a markdown document inside the doc folder. Enter. Now, this is a pretty complex instruction, not trivial. I'm telling him to check another branch where I did something similar, compare it with what he just did, and then to write a comparison here in the overview. So this is more than just an analysis. Is also a set of operation to be executed in the command line. Since this is, it works like agent, can easily go inside, can easily use the bash, the command line interface to perform some comparison. You see now it's executing git ls3. I just hit 2 and I trust you. So it's now free to check my file system. Of course, you need to trust your AI agent because you are giving access of the whole system. And then let's see the difference. He is now executing these commands to get the differences and came up with the diff in its own context and then summarize all of these in the document that I asked. It might be a bit long, I'd say. Hope you forgive me if this is getting a little bit too long. We are already like 23 minutes in the video, and it probably will take 5 more. Okay, now it's trying basically to come up with an idea. Now the interesting thing is, since this is a command line tool, it's kind of sequential, while this other tool with MCP, you can run multiple in parallel. So I saw somebody saying something like Claude Code is more accurate. With this, you can build a house, and with an MCP or a chat style agent, you can paint the walls. So basically, for this is for like more extensive or complex tasks, while this one is for more focused with a narrower context topics. Okay, let's go and check the prototype comparison. Let's see what is the result. It compares the architecture is modular, separation of concerns, the structure is basically monolithic single file, current generation, multi-file architecture. He also knows that, for instance, this is the previous did not have the upload firmware, while this model have the upload firmware, and I did not see that, but probably the previous did not have activity bar, icon, project review, build output view, while the current does have it. And also that this one has the pin designer and the previous didn't have it. So it's pretty interesting if you... okay, he's also performing a code quality check. Okay, we don't need to go really in the details, but long story short, we saw how this tool works. I show you also like the MCP. Yeah, I will use typically the MCP for stuffs like this. For instance, earlier I had created a branch, and then I saved the result of that branch, and then I pushed the, sorry, I committed the result on that branch, and then I switched to a new one. And I used this simpler tool to just, please give me the command to take that commit and put it into, so I told him, this is the current status of my Git. I need to create a new branch called feature2 prototype starting from the content in this commit. And then he simply provided me like the right command. Also, this one can also execute agentic operations. That means can go in the file system, perform changes, but I wouldn't trust when it needs to work with more than 10, 20 files. 20 files is already too much. While Claude Code can easily, she probably created like 40 files, a pretty complex structure, and everything seems checking out. Okay, these are node modules are not needed. Long story short, if you need to have an AI tool, Claude Code is like really much different than a simple chat assistant like it can be Copilot. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.